So we are speaking with David Sussman, who is a CEO of Valcor Arbitration. And if you need more information on this, one of the great resources, valcorworldwide.com. Again, that's Valcor, V-A-L-C-O-R, worldwide.com. All this information's on there. David, let me ask you another question, moving a bit further into restructuring, because I would think some business owners would get a little skeptical or sketchy on the hard facts that perhaps need to take place, the actions that need to take place to actually move them forward. Do you find that to be across the board, or do people kind of open the books and say, help?
People are extremely open with us. In fact, it's quite funny. I was talking with one of our senior consultants recently, and he came back from a meeting with a client that we just signed up. We qualify our clients. Most of it is done over the telephone. We meet with the client in person to sign the agreement and move through the process. We usually get a tour of the company, and we get to meet the personnel, usually the top executives of the company. And when we close the doors and we sit with the business owner, this person, go back to the original point of this discussion, being that this is a person that is extremely stressed. Mm-hmm. And they're sleepless for 3, 4, 5 months. They're worried. They're watching something that they've invested their entire livelihood into. 10, 20, 30 years of their entire life, they've invested in growing this business. It's their baby, if you will. It's a child. And they're watching their child die. And they don't know what to do. And they're stressed, and it's affected them psychologically, mentally. It's affected them physically in many ways.
Yeah.
Sometimes we come into situations where there's divorce because of this and the stress, and it really is it's heart-wrenching. And we leave that office with more knowledge, personal information about them that their pastor, their wife, their psychologist would ever know.
Yeah, I imagine the flop sweat in the corporate boardroom there is quite extensive.
I think the term that kids use today is TMI.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes it's too much information.
Yeah, I get it. But what again? It's their kid, going out for the school play. It's they want them to be on stage.
And so we listen. We're a shoulder to lean on. Sometimes it's good for the client just to vent. It's good information for us because we certainly put that information to make it a compelling presentation to the creditor as well. You're dealing with human beings that are running a company that are in trouble, usually due to circumstances beyond their control. I mean, what is happening in the economy right now is sobering. Forget about recovery. Every dead cat bounces, they say, right?
Mm-hmm, right.
What is happening right now, if the numbers weren't improving in some way, I couldn't imagine what would be happening. But they're not drastically improved. They're picking up from the dead bottom that we were hitting over the last couple of years to the point where
right.
I think 30 to 50 years from now, we'll look back at this decade, 2002, probably 2008 to maybe 2018, as very, very similar, but what I call a high-tech depression. It's very, very scary what we're dealing with right now. And unemployment is not 9.4, 9.7, or whatever the percentage is that the U3, the unemployment 3 statistic, which is what the media use to report unemployment numbers. Because
they use people who are applying for benefits.
It's technically right now about 17.5%.
Wow.
In 1993, 1994, the government, in their infinite wisdom, decided, probably for political reasons, to change the way that they were reporting unemployment numbers. So if you or I were on the unemployment line and then we ran out of our benefits, we're no longer counted as unemployed. Or if we decided that we no longer could look for work, we just became disillusioned and discouraged and any other dis you could think of, we're no longer counted. It doesn't mean that we found ourselves a job. And if you take into account the underemployed, if we were out there and we were earning $80,000 a year and we were laid off and I looked for 6 months to find a job and I found a job for $40,000 a year, I'm now considered employed, but I'm nowhere near close to where I was earning before, and I've had to cut back and cut my expenses and probably lose my house in the process. That's not counted either. And when you're talking about that, you're in the mid-20s.
Yeah, by far. David, in the last couple, 3 minutes we have here, I'd appreciate it if you would talk a little bit about the seminars and information that you provide. I know that you've done quite a few of those, and there's more forthcoming. Tell us more about your educational process.
Sure. We have a program that we've been doing since 1994. It's called the Valcor Licensee Training Program. We have licensees. We do train individuals to set up their own business restructuring, mediation, capital acquisition service in their own local area. And we do have people throughout the world, literally. We've trained people throughout North America, London, England. And we do a very high-level training and support program. In fact, I'm one of the principal trainers of this program. We're looking to partner up with individuals who do have a good background in business, who can communicate effectively in a professional business setting, and are looking to help local businesses in their immediate area by providing the same services that we provide. The information is online at our website, Valcor Worldwide. If they have any interest, they can fill out a form, and one of our senior advisors will contact them and walk them through a mutually beneficial, what we call a qualification process.
And again, that's Valcor, VALCOR, worldwide.com. And David, I'll give your number out as well. It's 877-282-5267. Best extension there is 118. That's 877-282-5267, extension 118. David, closing shots on our economy and how things are going with you?
Well, we're busier than we ever have been.
I imagine you are. Yeah. David Sussman, CEO of Valcor Arbitration at ValcorWorldwide.com. Thank you so much for being on and sharing that information with our listeners.
Troy, pleasure. Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's been the Money Matters program. I am Troy Davis, your host. Have a great weekend.
Well.